Hey guys, how you doing tonight? Kenny B here from Cities and Suburbs. Welcome, May 8th, and welcome aboard. A quick video for you. Just want to cover a few things. Great music for a Monday. How you guys doing out there in Worcester and beyond? And we try to cover things all local and throw in some things there, sprinkle in some things, and you can always comment and add any suggestions that you'd like the show to cover. Again, we really focus on Worcester, basically as a model for Worcester, Mass, as a model for a lot of the great things that happen in cities and some of the things that not so great. Anyway, welcome aboard. It is a beautiful day over here, if you could see, here in Charlton, Massachusetts, broadcasting here from my Cities and Suburbs studio. So just a real quick shout out to the Worcester Red Sox, 3-4 years now. I do want to say, I hope Connie Lukes, I know you're not listening, she's former city councilor, former mayor, quote unquote, that the Pawtucket Red Sox will never relocate to Worcester. They're not coming to Worcester. I can hear that in the back of my head, and here we are in our third year. Stupid COVID kind of, slowed us down a little bit. But that being said, it looks like the Worcester Red Sox, and this is I believe is this. So the Woo-Sox have reached 1 million fans so far. They've drawn 1 million persons to the park. Now, how they calculate these numbers are, are they duplicated? So if I went to every single game, I'm probably going to be included in that number as a new person with every single game, because they don't have my name. So they'll say, well, Ken, that's, he showed up once, so we can't count him for the other 99 times. No, these are repeated fans. Okay, so 1 million people have gone and bought tickets. Now, whether you were in the seat, it doesn't matter. It still shows support for the club. So, and the effort. So 1 million fans so far have already attended games at Polar Park. I drive by Polar Park every day. I think it's awesome. They're building a lot of housing across the street in all these former industrial complexes that have been leveled and left years ago. So that section of Worcester is pretty much thriving. So congratulations to the Worcester Red Sox. You're doing something right. They include local vendors, with all the local restaurants. Even Coney Island Hot Dog has a stand there. So they're doing it right, and the fans are responding. The people of Worcester and beyond are responding, so congratulations. Last week on the 2nd of May, I've been following the city council meetings for a very long time. Particularly good things coming out of stupid COVID is that some of the technology is still there, for good, bad, otherwise. I've been watching the city council meetings on Facebook, or you can go to City of Worcester website, and they'll connect you to a link where you can really watch the city council meetings, every Tuesday. And they also have the Worcester school committee meetings online, so it's all available. But so last week, which was pretty much already approved, that before that meeting on the 2nd, that Worcester police now are wearing body cams. Okay, that was an 8-3 vote, which I don't know. There was the dissent on the 8-3. The three folks who had already said we agree, but then they pushed back, and there's this kind of you need to give and take. I mean, and also too, the council is more diverse now as far as its makeup than it ever has. It represents Worcester very well, and I do like the city council. Bring it on, you guys. I mean, we have some of the older folks, the older Worcester, who are entrenched in how they believe the city should be moving forward. And we have a nice, younger, diverse, and ethnically diverse, which represents the city base that make up the city council. So if you haven't checked out the city council meetings, please go. You can watch them on Facebook. And it's an interesting process, and growth is definitely harder and than staying the same. Maintaining stagnant, no ballpark, old Wyman Gordon, areas in downtown by Kelly Square, that were just sitting in useless, empty, gross neighborhoods now has a thriving economy to it. And so the council, is going to support that, and but the Worcester Police Department with the body cams, how do you guys feel about that? So anyway, 8-3 vote. I know I got off a little bit, but 8-3 vote. And so the police union was asking the city that this is an extra added duty to their already duty, okay? And so they will receive, each officer that wears a body cam will receive a $1,300 to $1,300 a year stipend, if you will, for wearing the body cam. And there's a lot of pressure for wearing those body cams. I get it. It's for the, for the safety of everybody and who's ever going to be involved in an incident that may be recorded. And that's the police union, union, whatever. But, they've really pushed saying that, this is an extra duty for the police office and they deserve some compensation. Okay. Now, let me get a little silly with you. The other day when I was at a supply company, I was at a store, and the cashier asked me if I would like to donate or round up, something you're going to pay, and said, would you like to round up? No. If I had rounded up, by the way, I would have given $5 to whatever, just because I was feeling like a nice guy. Rather, I'm running around town trying to save 5 cents on a gallon of gasoline. So everybody wants your money. Backing up. So the cashier asked me, would you like to donate so-and-so to so-and-so? And it just hit me. And I asked the cashier, are you getting paid extra to ask me that question? And they chuckled. Now, well, I said, well, that's interesting, to myself. I said, okay, I left. And I thought about it, and I said, well, the Worcester Police Department is being paid more money to wear a body cam, but when this person was hired as a cashier, did they say at some point, we're going to make you or have you engage with the customer and ask them for more, to solicit more from them, because that's what it is, okay? As opposed to just ringing out my groceries. Are they getting paid more? They said no. So kind of weird there. And so maybe it's apples and oranges. But when you're being asked to do something, I do a lot of things on my job that I don't go to my place of employment and say, hey, I did this so you owe me more money or whatever. I don't do that. I just do it because, well, being a manager at what I do, I just do it. But I don't expect the people that aren't at my level to do something that is uncomfortable for them. So it's just the way unions work. Obviously, the cashier isn't being backed by a union. Not happening. Anyway, so school committee is in a mess right now in Worcester. They staged this last week before the Worcester City Council meeting, before the school committee meeting rather. They had a tomb and, a headstone and a fake coffin saying this is where education's going. Worcester teachers aren't being paid enough. They're being priced out because of the housing costs in Worcester. And, You know, where does it start with the student? How can you start with the student if you don't start with the teacher? You know, teachers are unfairly compensated. Oh, kind of like the police. Teachers in Worcester are unfairly compensated and for what they're doing, and that they're unable to, the city's unable to fill some positions, particularly for students with special needs, because the teachers are like, no, unless you up my salary, I'm not signing up for that, But, some research I've done is that there's, out of the 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts, Worcester is right up there in the top 50. And that's pretty good for being a city of about 205,000 people. They are competitive. We actually pay more than Holden. On average, the city of Worcester school teachers receive $90,000 plus. City of Holden, town of Holden, $87,000. Not much of a difference, but, and that's a very plush suburb, once part of Worcester, but now suburb of Worcester, Holden. And so the city feels it is competitive, but the teachers union is pushing back because they've hired a lot of new administrative people. Some of them I've met with new initiatives, because there's different ways of looking at how students get educated and where the money is coming from. It sounds like Worcester, along with other municipalities, are kind of level funded. This is what you got. You got to come up with the matching funds to do that. But as we grow as a community, it's great that we're growing, but we're going to meet people with diverse needs. And so the teachers union is pushing back, saying they've hired 17 new administrative positions, and what are those salaries, and how come we're not getting that money? And well, they really only hired 5. We have a different shift in the way the school district is working in different programs to educate those particularly special needs folks. So it's money, money, money. Eric Batista and his administration really have been focusing on infrastructure and the old schools that are in Worcester, putting the money toward new schools, like Burncoat. I mean, Burncoat just has to, we need something, something new. And those cost money too, right? Everything costs money, right? Just ask the Christmas tree shops, right? Christmas tree shops once owned and operated Bed Bath & Beyond, Chapter 11, closing hundreds of stores. So the Christmas tree shops, don't you just love a bargain? Remember that? Don't you just love a bargain? Remember that? Filed for Chapter 11, okay? They've been in business for how long, and selling household goods, Christmas things, and now, Chapter 11 doesn't mean that they're going away. That means they'll do what Staples did a few years ago, trim the fat, cut 200 stores. But even when you do that and you start cutting, that gives an opportunity for people, other businesses, to move in, right? And it's a slow, like what happened with Sears. It's a slow death, They'll sell off this, they'll sell off that, and and they'll close all those stores, and and they're retail jobs, so if they're entry-level jobs, those folks can go work at the Gap, and I mean no disrespect to any of that, but it's a transferable skill. If you're in retail, I know I worked it. So what do you guys think about that? I mean, we have, the school district in Worcester. We have the Canal District, which the teachers are saying, hey, our kids in the future are going to have that ball and chain of the ballpark around their neck. That's not necessarily the case. And as I said before, the ballpark, even if it went up to $200 million, what did they pay what did the San Diego Padres pay Xander Bogaerts, right? What did they pay Xander Bogaerts to sign with them, right? And also, too, did you catch, which could you care less about that just happened over the weekend? The Kentucky Derby or the coronation of a king? All right, put your answers below. Keep feeding me your ideas. Love you guys. Take care. Kenny B here. Check it out from cities and suburbs. All right, have a good one. May 8th. We'll see you next week. Ciao.